Hi, YouTube. How are you going? How are you going? How are you doing? But the Australians do say that. They say, "How are you going?" And Facebook, how are you doing? All right. I'm just doing a little check-in about my second day on my fast. This is my first time doing really distracted by my hair. This is my first time doing a fasting. Or no, I've probably done it before when I had to get like blood work and stuff done. But this time I'm doing this out of my own choice because I want to. And I'm on day two. So I'm probably like, hey, Liz, how's it going? Um, I started, what day are we today? Saturday, Friday. I started Thursday, probably around 10 p.m., maybe a little bit earlier. So I don't know. Anyways, 10 p.m. tonight would be 48 hours. And I've kind of just been going the flow with this. Like my ideal goal really was 3 days, 3 days, and then kind of slowly integrate back by doing some juicing and then, into soups and then back to solid foods. And but at the same time, I didn't want to put a very strong pressure on myself because I really feel that you need to kind of go with how the body feels. So I've just been going with the flow with it. I really just wanted to at least have 24 hours one day, and that I did. I'm extremely, extremely proud of myself because one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because I wanted to shift out of old patterns. I kind of got into this pattern of not the most well, I was getting in the pattern of eating very comfort foods and probably indulging in things like drinking and all this other stuff that a lot of people probably have since this COVID thing has gone on. And so I wanted to shift out of that. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know that. I'm sure a lot of you all have had times where you're really super healthy or you're not so healthy. And so I was in that period where it could have used some tweaking. And I just want to restart the digestive system and everything to have its like it break. I wanted to have a break so it can reset because I almost feel like or felt like my liver or certain organs within the body wasn't detoxing as well and efficiently as it could. A couple of reasons why I think that is I noticed on my arms I had a little bit, it's not cellulite, but something there. And I almost feel like things are not processing or detoxing it out as well as it could, like I just mentioned. And then other things, that I do have thyroid issues. I don't know if I still do now, but I have for a couple of years. I just haven't had tests done in a while, so I don't know to date right now. But I feel like anything we have, we can always course correct it. We can always fix it. And so I just really wanted to reset everything, reset the hormones. I feel like my hormones have changed a lot, and I'm sure a lot of other women around my age group has also been noticing that and feeling that. And I've noticed this, like I've noticed this a lot with people at this age group, women specifically, where we just like there comes a point where we gain weight, like our body changes. And it's very strange for us to go through that, especially in a day and age where, body is kind of a thing, although now we're shifting into more body love and body consciousness and more acceptance around it, which is good. But it does feel weird when it just feels uncomfortable. It feels foreign in your skin. It did for me anyways. And so I think there was just a multitude of different things going on, like adrenal fatigue, thyroid issues, hormone imbalance, nervous system. I know has kind of been really, really sensitive on and off over the years, and that's kind of tough to deal with when you're living in such a well, if you're living in the city downtown, it can be a bit difficult because everything is so enhanced, like sounds and everything, and so it can be a little bit taxing over time. And so, I just really wanted time to reset everything and have the body take a break and to really just filter out all the stuff that I've been consuming over the days, weeks, months, years, and so that's where I am with that. And today has been quite good overall, but I spent actually hours, like since I can't even believe it's almost 6 o'clock right now, but probably since 12 o'clock or 1, I spent all afternoon literally watching food videos on YouTube. And I notice I do this. I've never really done the fasting thing before, but I've done cleanses before, attempted cleanses before, like 5 day or 7 day cleanses. I don't even think I've ever completed one of those in the past. But those, I was able to have protein shakes, and I think there were some days you could have certain foods. I don't even remember. It's been years, but I find when I do this, what happens is the first day or so, you really still crave the food that you want or you used to eat, or that you're just all of a sudden dreaming about. That's usually like comfort foods. But what I find has happened and what is happening now too is over time, we start to not really crave those unhealthy foods anymore, those comfort foods anymore. And you start thinking about and getting excited about when you can eat food, but when you want to eat food again, you want it to be very healthy. And so I love watching videos on I love just getting inspiration. I'm not one to really follow recipes, but it's like if I see something, I'm like, okay, how can I make this healthier? And I really get a lot of inspiration from the online world now. But I think about even the foods that I really crave a lot. Like I love poutines, I love this and that. And I always think about, okay, these foods that I like a lot that don't have a whole lot of nutrients compared to what we could be eating. How can I make it where it'll still have the same satisfaction in terms of texture and maybe some flavors, but is healthier? And so I often find myself thinking a lot about those things when I'm going through a cleanse or going through this, which is kind of absurd because it's almost like it could be considered a tease, I guess, because you're watching all these amazing videos and pictures of food at a time that you can't or shouldn't really be eating. But I almost like to do it ahead of time because it gives me inspiration. So I already know ahead of time when I am going to be eating. What are some things I can make? What are some things that I can prepare in terms of what to get at the grocery store? That way, when you're coming off a cleanse or off fasting, you're not going to the grocery store and then all of a sudden you're going crazy from all the foods that are already pre-made that aren't really that healthy or comfort foods. You already know in your head, you already have everything organized and set in what you need to get that you are going to ease back in and that you're going to eat nice and healthy but still be super delicious and satisfying. And so that's where I've been with that. And just been drinking lots of water, have been drinking herbal cleansing teas with milk, thistle, and dandelion, which really helps to cleanse the body as well. I was getting like I felt like my blood sugar or my low my sorry, what am I trying to say? I felt like I was having like low blood pressure or something earlier today because I felt like really, really weak. Um, and the thing is, I think if you're doing cleanses and fasts, you have to be really mindful and know the difference of when you're like, okay, the mind and ego wants to give up and just go for the food and this and that, and when like legit your body is trying to tell you it needs something because you don't want to ignore that. Like I think it's more important to listen to your body than anything else. And really, this whole thing um, about the fasting for me, actually, there's a lot of elements. I already mentioned one. Another one was a self discipline thing for me to learn to have more self discipline and shift through that, and also shift and change through the patterns, which I did a video on that yesterday. And yes, I'm wearing the same thing, but I did go outside yesterday for a walk. So if you're thinking I just like sat here in the same clothes for a couple of days, I didn't. But if you're anything like me and you don't have laundry in your apartment, you do kind of stretch out wearing the same clothes. And I have indoor clothes and outdoor clothes. So when I'm outdoors, I kind of wear the same thing until, till you should probably switch it up. And then I do. And I have the same thing for indoors because I don't like to be outdoors sitting on benches and things like that and then sitting on my couch. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Are you like that too? I just like different clothing for when I sit on my bed or on my couch that's nice and clean versus what I use sitting on the TTC or benches outside. Anyways, a little bit of a tangent. Going back to what I said, there was a couple of reasons why I'm doing the fasting. I just mentioned a couple. And then the other one is really tapping more into my body because what I found was happening, I was using food as an avoidance. and to numb out. And I was doing that a bit with alcohol as well. And a lot of things. We do a lot of things to avoid, and sometimes we don't even realize that we are doing that. And I find with food, the reason why I crave a lot of comfort foods is because it gives comfort, but it also starts to numb out the feelings that you're feeling within the body or even emotionally. So it was kind of a blanket or running from things or an avoidance rather than really feeling what's here. So my big thing is also tapping into my body and asking my body, what does it need? Are you okay with this? Do you need that? Like, it's almost talking to your body and yourself as if you would if you had your own child, a young child. And if you had a young child, most likely you would always want to ensure that what his or her needs are being tended to. And so we often neglect doing that with ourselves, and it's actually very important. So I've been being extra mindful with that. And I find answering questions and tapping in is the best way because, like I said, our ego and our mind can sometimes have false thoughts or feelings and then what's really going on here. So that's why it's really good to question ourselves, not in a interrogative way, but just tuning in and tapping in and seeing where that intention is coming from and where that answer and response is coming from. And so I find quite often, especially when I do a lot of healing work, like on myself, I find, especially when I've done a lot of heavy healing, or even when I've gone through courses and seminars and all that doing it, I find what happens is as we heal, we start to release a lot of things, a lot of layers, a lot of stuff that we suppress down. And when we do that, we start to feel lighter because not only are we releasing and clearing out things that we've had held in our body for a long time in our cells and all these places and spaces in our body, in our energy field, in our auric field, in our emotional field. And so when we release that, it's literally like a weight is being lifted off our shoulders and out of our body. And what happens is sometimes we have not felt our body so light in so long that it's a foreign feeling. And sometimes when something is a foreign feeling, it feels outside of our comfort zone. And sometimes when things feel outside of our comfort zone, we get scared. We sometimes tend to turn to our avoidance strategies and run away from that feeling. And so, you can even ask yourself, what is it what's your go-to that you go to when things start feeling uncomfortable? What is your go-to when things are feeling a little icky? What is it when you're trying to avoid doing something that you feel that you should be doing and you're procrastinating it for whatever reason? So you turn to something else, another avoidance again. So it's a really good time to be checking in with that. And I think, especially with the full moon, we had it yesterday, October 31st, on Halloween 2020. That really amplifies on having a lot of our shadow aspects and a lot of memories and a lot of emotions that we didn't deal with for a long time come up to the surface. And so really utilizing that time. And again, we had a blue moon, which means a the second full moon of 1 month, which rarely really happens. I think the last time we had that in on Halloween it was like 1944 or something like that. And so that was really an opportunity for us, a second chance for us to really be able to reflect and to use the moon's energies, which I can tell you it does amplify things a lot. If you look at how it affects even the water and the current and the pull, if the moon can do that and our body is made of what, I don't know, 85% of water, it's going to affect you. It's just some people don't realize it either because they're not aware of it or they're not cognizant of it or they're just I don't know. I think as we start to grow and evolve and become more conscious, we start to feel these things a lot more. And I think as an empath and someone who's highly sensitive, definitely I and others who are similar would feel it a lot more than the average person. But anyways, yeah, I totally went on a little tangent there, but my message is really, if you're finding a lot of stuff coming up for you, just know it's okay. It's like it's an amplified time right now, and we have Mercury in retrograde and Mars in retrograde. So just be gentle with yourself. If you're finding a lot of stuff come up for you, but I really wanted to allow what's coming up. I wanted to allow it to come up rather than resisting it, rather than avoiding it, and rather than trying to shove it back down or comfort it or alleviate it with something external like food. And so that's my check-in. It's 5:55 right now, and I'm almost there at the end of the day. So there's definitely moments where I think about like a Wendy's Junior bacon cheeseburger or something like that. Um, but it's always this thing like this is where we make the change. This is where we make the conscious change. And I'm not going to go too much into it because I already did that on my video yesterday. But um, these are pivotal moments for all of us to really start shifting and changing our habits and our unhealthy patterns. And so, if you're going through this in one way or another with your patterns or habits, and you're going through this moment, this shift and change, but it's still a little shaky, hang in there. You got it. You got it. And I'm actually extremely proud of myself for even doing 24 hours because um, yeah, I wasn't sure I was gonna be able to, and I'm even amazed and really proud of myself for going 2 days now. And tomorrow I'm gonna feel it out. If I do, I might actually just incorporate some juices though tomorrow to help facilitate the detoxing and the cleansing, but also minerals within the body. I'm in no way suggesting anybody to fast, by the way. I'm not a doctor. So if you do feel inspired to do it, I would definitely say do some research. And if you're on medication or anything like that, definitely speak with your doctor or your holistic practitioner. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. I'm just rambling at this point, just rambling. So I'm probably going to go for a walk at some point and do some really gentle yoga and have a bath and go to bed. I actually had a pretty good sleep last night. I did get woken up around 10 o'clock from neighbors having sex, but other than that, the rest of the night was very quiet and peaceful. And whereas the night before, someone had this really annoying yappy dog that was going till 4 in the morning, and then I couldn't even fall back to sleep till 5. And then the night before was same thing, couldn't sleep. So I'm hoping for a really nice, good sleep again tonight. So I wish you all the best. Talk soon.